inadequate. When I got the referral, I saw that the doctor was talking about how you were having depressive symptoms and talking about how you were starting to feel inadequate as a restaurant manager.
Right.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I've never felt like that, but you know, it's I just can't meet his expectations, and that I mean, he's just really, you know, making me feel inadequate, and that, you know.
So you do feel inadequate now?
It's like, yes, absolutely. I you know, I just don't. It's like maybe I should be getting everything done, you know, and I mean, can a normal person do this? I don't know, you know. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. There's a lot that we probably need to cover, and we're not going to be able to cover all of it in one session. So if you're okay with this, we probably need to pick one thing to prioritize just for today's session. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
What would you like to accomplish during this?
Well, well, I mean, I really just kind of want to de-stress a little. How is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, kind of some of the things you said. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, we could focus on one particular thing, you know.
Well, can you narrow it down to 3 different things that are causing the stress? Or one?
I have no clue where you're going with this.
Okay.
I mean, really.
Okay, so what it sounds like to me is that your feelings of inadequacy, which seems to be coming from a source that's not true, is causing all these other things to happen, like you going home and drinking and having arguments with your spouse, and I see that your depressive symptoms are quite high, according to the scale here used at that practice.
Right.
So, would you like to address feeling inadequate?
Sure. Yeah.
Or do you think the drinking is more important?
Well, let's go with the inadequate.
Oh, feeling inadequate. Okay, that's a great idea. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about how long you have worked in the restaurant industry? You mentioned several years, right?
Yes. Like 23, 24 years in total, but 20 years with this company.
And even after working for 24 years for the same company, you're still feeling inadequate?
Yes.
Okay. So what I like to do is kind of dive into that a little bit. All right. So during the 24 years you were employed at this particular company, have you got any promotions?
One, but I feel like I feel like I'm way behind where I need to be. I mean, I should have had a lot more by now.
Okay. Well, how long ago was it that you got a promotion?
Oh, that was 15 years ago.
Okay. When you got the promotion, tell me about that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, I was a restaurant manager, and I did pretty well at the time, and I was doing very well. And pretty much I just kind of moved into another position, and I mean, I was ready to take on the position a year or two before I ever did, and you know, and then they promoted me into general manager.
Okay. Well, do you think that maybe they promoted you because you were good at what you did?
Yes.
Or do you think they just go around promoting people like because there's no other options? Were there other options at the time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was other options at the time.
Okay. But they chose you.
Right.
To get the promotion, and from my understanding, it was quite a pretty good raise in salary as well.
Sure.
Okay. So what do you think that they saw in you at the time that you were promoted?
Well, I mean, I've always worked pretty hard. And, you know, I mean, I show up on time, show up on off days. You know, we work weekends, holidays, and a lot of people like to complain about that, you know. And I'm just not one that complains about all that, you know. That and I have common sense.
Okay. What do you mean by common sense?
Well, a lot of people don't realize that you know, if you, when it comes to running a restaurant, if you listen to everything around you at one time, you will learn so much, and it's so much easier to do. It's so much easier to run a restaurant when all you have to do is to listen.
Okay. And what, so you've mentioned a couple of different things. It sounds like you're a very hard worker. You're willing to come in on weekends. Sounds like holidays as well, and working overtime. And they don't pay you extra to work overtime. You just do it. Is that correct?
It's salary.
Okay.
Right.
So it sounds like you're a pretty good asset.
I hope so.
So you can see your value then.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think I'm getting at there?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do.
Okay. So it would be a fallacy to say that you were inadequate then, right?
Right.
That wouldn't even be accurate.
Right. True.
Okay. Well,
Well, the issue with that is I guess to get my boss to understand that I'm not inadequate, you know, that just what he's handing me it, you know, all at once is just impossible to do, you know, and I mean, let me backstory that just slightly, you know, I mean, he will come into my store and, you know, it's an older restaurant. It's not a brand